Welcome back to My Quest to Teach. This podcast is going to focus on something very near and dear to my heart, STEAM education. And as many people know, STEAM represents science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And this is a cross-curricular, interdisciplinary instruction method that involves hands-on instruction. The teachers or the educators are facilitators of learning, and it provides a new way to provide instruction to students that helps to facilitate critical thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. The infusion of technology into the school environment in many ways matches the infusion and integration of technology in the corporate world, also in the military, and also in vocational skills. So technology has been infused in so many aspects of our lives that children, youth, teens, young adults that are receiving education, it's very important that they are exposed to technology, allowed to use the technology, allowed to be creative in using the technology as well. So where the issue of STEAM falls, you have your area of science that more youth need to be involved in because of the potential to excel in the area of science with new discoveries using technology. The technology aspect itself, technology is changing so rapidly that every 6 to 9 months a new application or a new app or a new product or a new service or a new capability is being created through research and development. Engineering also, many engineers are aided with the use of technology, which eases the workload but provides more creativity, more innovation, more critical thinking skills, and more opportunities for engineers of all different types to be able to work together and collaborate. So when we're talking about these areas of STEAM, it's not just one or two particular areas, but it runs the gamut of careers that are present now and careers that haven't even been created yet. Also the infusion of the arts. More research has gone into the benefits of an art education, how it particularly affects different areas of the brain, providing a person with the capability to be more creative, to use the term to think out of the box, but not just think out of the box, but think and design a new box, to create a box, to modify the box itself. So that way, with the way students learn in their modalities, no student learns the same. Everyone learns differently. So some students may be auditory through hearing, learn effectively. Some students are visual learners. Some students are tactile learners, they use with their hands. Some students are cognitive learners. They think at such a high rate or a higher order rate or a higher level that they can just comprehend the information and use it successfully. But in many cases, our children use multiple modalities. They learn different ways. So STEAM helps in many ways to bring about a change in how students learn. It's more engaging and more involved and also more empowering because students get the opportunity to claim ownership to their learning so that they're accountable and responsible for their learning. And let's not forget, importantly, mathematics. Mathematics is an integral part of all our lives. Dealing with mathematics, dealing with our finances, dealing with mathematics in our everyday existence, in our everyday lives, using math that we don't even know sometimes. It just happens. So mathematics is a key component and very important as well. The two areas, the science and the mathematics, a change is needed in the instructional process to get students away from feeling that they are stressed because of the math, they're stressed because of the science, getting them to change their thinking that they don't like science or they don't like math, to changing it so they welcome the sciences, they welcome the math because it requires a certain way to process information. And through a STEAM environment, it provides an opportunity to look at things differently. So this blog is a STEAM education, and basically it's my relationship and my transition from being a physical education teacher or technology teacher, now moving into a STEAM environment, being an engineering and technology teacher as well, and some information that I've learned through the years that I wanted to share with other educators and also parents as well. So this is my observations as an engineering and technology educator in a growing STEAM environment for elementary students. Teachers are becoming facilitators of learning, not just lecturers. The STEAM environment of a school and classroom is a diverse educational environment. It requires teachers to be facilitators of learning in a multidisciplinary environment requiring engagement, requiring collaboration and cooperation on the part of the student. The integration and infusion of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics requires not just a strong curriculum, that it can also provide cross-curriculum lines of instruction. It may have a teacher must be passionate, knowledgeable, innovative, creative, and teachers are willing to work collaboratively. Schools across the country are claiming and announcing their transition to being a STEAM institution of learning. The reality and the challenge is to become agents of instructional change, not just educational reform. Allowing and encouraging hands-on learning, project-based discoveries in the world of digital media, testing strategies, benchmarks, learning assessments, procedures and practices, and sometimes these procedures and practices are archaic and outdated, particularly when you try to infuse them with technology. The dynamics of a classroom. The dynamics of the 21st century classroom must be prepared for equal access to functional technologies. Learning should be engaging, empowering, and gradually applying critical and higher order thinking skills. Students must be taught how to be critical thinkers, apply old knowledge to new learning. The ability to think in higher order needs to be defined so that it is universal in its application. Higher order thinking skills, or HOTS, H-O-T-S, is in line with educational reforms that many districts nationwide are trying to transition to, but find it difficult because many teachers are not trained in the dynamics of facilitated teaching. The complexity of HOTS involves the learning of complex, hypercritical skills and problem-solving abilities. These, in many cases, are new skills that take years to develop in children. If a school or school district decides to embark on this educational journey in reform, they must also be willing to have a long-term expectation and willingness to retrain not only students but educators and administrators in the applied skills of facilitation. STEAM education is not a quick fix, and it's also not a fad. It is a systematic, methodical, meticulous, and planned progression of student development. The skills students learn will be transferable along the educational track from elementary to high school, and even into vocational and higher education. Historically, since 2001, STEAM has been a part of the educational vocabulary, slowly making its transition to STEAM, or should I say from STEM to STEAM, since 2010. The acronym STEAM represents an instructional model of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEAM is a teaching designed by the National Science Foundation in its efforts to revolutionize education by incorporating technology and expanding the influences of science, engineering, and mathematics in schools. Students, in order to compete in the 21st century and beyond, need to learn the skills necessary for careers that are new and uninvented, or that have not been invented yet. STEAM and STEM skills are necessary for all students. These skills lay the foundation for global preparation in careers. The inclusion and infusion of the arts is important because of the solid research that the arts builds on the creativity and innovation that is required in a STEAM environment. Arts and crafts have a responsibility like never before to expose students, especially in inner city schools, to their creativity that is needed in digital environments that require to think out of the box and actually, as I said before, create a new box, a new design, experimentation, and bring about ingenuity. The diminishing requirements of the industrialized and agricultural skills shows that careers in these fields are slowly disappearing. Automation and robotics dominate increasingly each generation. Globally, industrialized nations are leaving their human productivity behind and investing in capital, human capital, that encourages creativity and productivity using technology. Third world nations use human capital still for manufacturing, agricultural, and low-wage jobs, seen in the unfortunate recent factory deaths from fires and collapsed buildings. Low-wage and low-skilled workers are still being employed even in America, but unfortunately their value as value workers and contributors to economic prosperity have low sense of value. Technology has enabled a higher value on those that have technical skills over those that do not have technical skills. So the transition from non-technical skills to technical skills shows in our economy and how those with technological skills are advancing and getting hired and providing more opportunities than those that do not have technical skills. I recently heard on NPR, National Public Radio, how in Detroit with the automotive industry during the 50s and 60s, there were several thousand workers in the Detroit factories. I believe the number was up to 25,000 workers during that time from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Now, because of automation and technology and innovation using computers and robots, the numbers have significantly dropped during the year 2000 and so forth to about 5,000 or 6,000 because of the infusion of technology and robotics working faster and longer than humans not having to take a break, and just the opportunity to infuse that technology into industrialized areas and gradually pushing out the human worker. Nations have been focusing on technical lines of education where competition is becoming digital because of the creation of digital content. The changes of STEAM are shown in changing the traditional teacher-centered classroom model to a hands-on, problem-solving, exploration, discovery, reflection, and project-based model. The access to technology is important in understanding of how technology is integrated and manipulated by students and teachers. Is requiring a change in the instructional models. STEAM creates a paradigm shift in the integration of the arts because of the ability to affect cognitive growth, problem solving, and creativity. Engineering is more than just designing buildings and structures. It requires an arts-based foundation. The arts are key in the innovative and out-of-the-box direction of thinking, analyzing, and immersion of creativity that is seen in modern structural design, that is even seen in the design of spacecraft. So using technology, using an appreciation and respect for the arts, we can see in our buildings throughout the world, particularly in foreign countries, how the design using the arts are creating buildings that are just so astounding and so different and so unique that arts is playing an important role. Also, arts is very important in the military industry and also in NASA as well, in space travel, because of the design aspects. being innovative, being creative, and again, that term again, thinking out of the box, how to design these items for military use or for space travel, even also the artistic ability or artistic skills used when creating drones is being implemented as well. Using that with teaching strategies, students benefit from a STEAM program as it includes and addresses multiple learning modalities. An important key is innovation that allows students to maximize the best fit for them in learning. Stated from the White House website, Educate to Innovate, there needs to be an increase in STEAM literacy so that students can learn to think critically in science, math, engineering, and technology. The importance for the need in recognizing that a strong foundation in science, technology, engineering, and math is key for laying the foundation for prosperity. And this was quoted by President Barack Obama, the importance of STEAM. Teacher-guided learning allows students to embrace learning on a scale as leaders and content creators. STEAM careers require workers to possess the ability to think critically, work as members of a team, and be an independent creator as well. To infuse innovation and to make sure they understand the power of the thought processes of critical thinking and higher order thinking skills. The performance gap between American students and those of other countries is a challenge. There isn't a metric to measure true discrepancies. There are assessments that are national and global, but the proof comes when workers are productive in real-world careers. So many times when they compare American students, when comparisons are made of American students to students in India or students in other countries, they're using different metrics. The instruction of math, science, the technology, the arts, and a combination of a cross-curricular design to empower students to allow them to engage in different careers. And some of these terms to parents may sometimes be foreign, and you may not understand the terms, but in an instructional environment, it's important that we understand how capable and how to build the abilities of students. Because once they graduate high school, the environment, as we all know, is very competitive. Entering into higher education is very competitive. Entering into vocational education is very competitive. And I don't want to leave out the importance of community colleges as well, because if students are weak in certain areas, especially in the sciences and the mathematics and some of the arts areas, community colleges fill a gap as well. I want to touch on historically black colleges and universities. HBCUs are very important and key as well, because they open up doors for opportunities for students of color, for black students, African American students, to be involved in these areas of STEAM that are embraced in different careers. The academic backgrounds of some of our young people, particularly from inner city schools, may not be strong enough where they can enroll in maybe an Ivy League school or a traditional university, but HBCUs do fill an important gap. They do fill an important role where they do prepare students in areas of STEAM. I use my son as an example. Sean will be a senior at Florida A&M. His major is microbiology, and during his young years in elementary, middle school, and high school, or I should say young years, I encourage him to take a lot of sciences, to take a lot of math. And because of that, in my involvement with his education and my pushing and also exposing him to different areas like museums and taking him to the library and taking him to conferences and workshops and summits and encouraging his different abilities, he is an honor student at Florida A&M. And I'm very proud of him, but I want to encourage parents to be a part of your child's learning from elementary to high school, because it is key and very important. My daughter is also an honor student in high school as well, going into her senior year. And it's important, I can't stress enough for parents to be involved. Just don't leave it to the teachers to help, or educators to help educate your child. You are a key part as well, because you set the foundation. and that leads to my parental influences. I strongly encourage parents to create learning environments in their homes. Allow their children to explore their talents by visiting museums, working with Legos, participating in arts to understand the value of creativity and expression. Have a reading library and educational DVDs in the home. I want to make sure parents understand that their child or their children will be judged by their ability to create, to be collaborative, to be cooperative in learning environments, and innovative in their thoughts. Where we see a football, basketball, tennis ball, tennis racket, basketball, or other academic, or other athletic opportunities, there should be a tablet with educational apps, a library card, a museum membership, educational DVDs, and as I stated before, books to read. Regular visits to the library to participate in events and activities. In conclusion, President Obama called for over 100,000 new STEAM teachers over the next 10 years. And I am proud that I've embraced this idea of STEAM, and also the administration at my school and teachers as well have embraced the STEAM environment, the STEAM thought processes. Because the importance of STEAM in education and putting these skilled teachers in the classrooms is paramount to the education of American children and the competitiveness of the United States in global markets in the 21st century. The recent announcement by NASA and the new class of astronauts should show parents a new direction of career choices for their children. So as I try to teach my engineering students from kindergarten to 5th grade, it's no longer if I can go into space. It has changed to when can I go into space as a researcher or astronaut. No child should be left behind. Parents must engage and encourage their children because learning and appreciation for education starts at home. Before students step onto the schoolhouse, they should be prepared in their own house. I also wanted to emphasize to parents, it doesn't matter your educational level, but if you get your children excited about learning and stay involved and you learn in the process as well, it benefits the whole family. Our culture is changing, careers are changing, and parents really need to change the direction of how they work with their children and steering them into careers where they're infusing technology, but also be a part of that infusion of technology in home and infusion of reading, using educational resources, because the end result is getting your children to a place where they can be a benefit to society, not a menace to society. And I believe that all parents want to be proud of their children, but they still have to take the time to make the time and make the important sacrifices to do what needs to be done to make sure their children are a success in school and beyond. So hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope I was able to share some important information. Thank you.